Today's episode is something that I wish somebody would have explained to me. There's so much online about manifestation being easy. It's so easy. It's so easy. There's a lot of content and people online. This is how I became a millionaire in 5 seconds from starting my business. And there's nothing wrong with success. I think personally, I don't do enough focusing on and talking about my own successes. So there's nothing wrong with success, but on social media, you're really seeing people at their best. You're seeing people when they have washed their face, when they have put on makeup, when they have put on a ring light or whatever. Like, you're seeing a more polished version of people. And the woman in that YouTube video who's speaking in such a condescending tone, and she's just saying, persist. All you need to do is persist. Just keep telling the new story. It's like she's talking to you from a place of calm, or calm is the best word I have for that. She's talking to you from a place of calm. She's talking to you from a place of safety. She is not in the middle of being completely triggered. My point is that there's a couple of things that I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about business. I want to talk about skills. I want to talk about skill levels. But really what I want to talk about first, like at the beginning of this, is that manifestation is fucking hard. Manifestation is hard, and I'm tired of people around the world acting like it's the easiest thing in the fucking world, because that makes me feel broken as fuck. That makes me feel broken as fuck. Oh, really? All you did was visualize and write as if it was happening for you, and then you went from having $10,000 a month in your business to $700,000 months in your business. Wow, that is so amazing, and that is so fucking wonderful, and that is so great. And no, I have no idea what the fuck you did. I have no idea what magical power it is that you unleashed. But that's not my story. That's not my life. That's not my experience. Manifestation is fucking hard. And it's not that the actual act of receiving your desires is difficult. It's not that it's difficult for the universe to give you what you want and desire. It's that it's fucking difficult to change your own mind. You're in a constant state of healing yourself. You're in a constant state of self-reflection. You're in a constant state of doing the work. You're in a constant state of figuring out what's my next right step. You're in a constant state of figuring out, like, what's the next thing that needs to be healed? What's the next thing that needs to be shifted? It's hard. And having your old mindset, your old way of being, constantly showing up in your reality, navigating that is hard. It is difficult. Getting from one level to the next in your life is hard. It's difficult. And I'm tired of us talking about it as if it's some easy fucking thing. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard. It's hard and it's fucking difficult. And I think that a lot of people's marketing can be so misleading when it's like, this is what I did in 30 days. This is how I manifested $30,000 in 30 days. Yeah, you did a million tiny things up until you got to that point. You did work to believe in yourself. You did work to have faith in manifestation. You did work to allow yourself to be taken care of by humanity, to be taken care of by the world. Manifestation is magical, but it's not magic. You don't snap your fingers and all of a sudden become a completely different person who has a completely different reality unless you have that belief. And there are a lot of people who have created the belief that their reality can change quickly and easily, but still, it takes work and it takes effort. And I'm tired of acting like it doesn't. Or I'm tired of seeing people that act like it doesn't. It's fucking hard. And I've been recently having such a hard time growing and expanding financially in my business. Like, growing and expanding and making the amount of money that I want to make, charging what I want to charge for my stuff. And it's so fucking hard. It's so fucking difficult. And when I say it's hard, I don't mean, oh, it's so hard that I don't think that I'll ever get over there. I don't think that I'll ever achieve it. Well, no, I don't think that that's true. I think that it's inevitable for me to achieve it. I think it's something that I'm obviously moving towards. I think I'm obviously somebody who grows and expands. I can know that that's where I'm headed, but I do not have to push away from where I am. And that's what I wish that somebody would have told me. I wish they would have told me that manifestation can be fucking hard. Getting from one level to the next, you're doing it, you're growing, and you are progressing. But as you are moving to your next level, you might have a moment where you have to sit back and go back to some place that you already came from. I wish that somebody would have told me. Sometimes you have to go back to some place that you already came from while you are gearing up to get into your next level. And it doesn't mean anything about you. A couple of years ago, I had a mentor who told me something that supports this, and it really blew my mind, where she was just like, you're the owner of your business. You can change your prices. There is no rule. And it freed me. Like, it seriously freed me, because I was just approaching it from the perspective that, like, well, if I raised my prices to this, then I can't put them back. Or what if somebody is upset that they paid this for this and somebody else got it for less? And like all of these things, I was making it more complex than it needed to be. I'm the boss. I'm the CEO. I decide what the prices are. And that's that on that. And I can change the prices anytime I want. And it doesn't mean anything. So that perspective really, really shifted something within me. I can change my prices drastically low. I can hike my prices up. I can do whatever I want. And so I recently came to the conclusion that I'm going to change my prices on my courses to $300 just for this current time being. Because my priorities, it's like I started thinking more like a CEO. I started thinking more like a boss instead of just thinking like this one-track minded woman who has to make this much per course and has to get this many sales and has to have this much a quarter so that she can reach this financial goal and blah, 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 blah. I started thinking like a CEO. I started thinking like the owner of my business. And I'm asking myself, what's my priority right now in business? And my priority right now in business is increasing my cash flow. So while I'm in a season in my business of increasing my cash flow, then I'm not also going to be in a season of my business where I'm increasing my prices. When I want to increase my cash flow, I want to increase the amount of sales that I'm getting. I don't just want to increase the amount of money that I'm making. I don't want to just increase my income. I don't want to just increase my profit. I want to increase the volume of sales coming into my business. I want dozens of sales coming into my business. I want sales coming into my business every single day. My priority is that I want to, and I'm sorry, I keep hitting the microphone with my fingers. My priority is that I want to increase the volume of sales. So if that's my priority, if I would rather have three, four, five, $300 sales than have one $1,700 sale, I want a feeling of community. I want a feeling of support. I want a feeling of consistent gratification in my business. I want a different feeling experience in my business. So my priorities are different. And I think for a long time, there's a lot of things that I didn't want to do because I thought that it meant something about me. Years ago, I had a woman tell me, oh, you should be working for $300 an hour. You can get $300 an hour. And I felt so limited by that because that's not what I wanted to be making an hour. And I wanted to make more. And I just felt like I felt limited by that idea. So I didn't end up like creating that offer or offering to meet with people for that amount of money because I didn't want to do it. It didn't light me up, and it made me feel like I was losing something. So the mindset shift that I really wish that somebody else would have told me is like, okay, for me, the bills are going to get paid because the bills are going to get paid. One of my motivators for charging $1,700 per course is my financial goals, my savings goals. The way that I want to grow and expand savings in multiple areas of my life. There are bills that I have that need to be paid, obviously. And so I was feeling like I want to receive larger amounts of money and I want to do less work. I want it to be easier. I want it to be quicker and all of this stuff. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, the shift was like, okay, we can separate these two things. I can separate how much I'm charging from meeting my financial goals. And I'm going to explain that right now. But before I do, I have to say, like, in business, one of the most important things that I've realized is that it doesn't have how much money you make has nothing to do with the value of what you're giving. I'm charging $300 for my courses. I think that's a steal. I think it's crazy. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's way too low. I think it's not so low that I would build resentment after having received it, but I think it's barely not so low that I would not build resentment after, having received it. So I've been working on expanding my belief in my own value of my work. And I'm just not at a place where I strongly and easily believe that my courses are worthy of $1,700. But I do strongly and easily believe that they're worth way more than $300. So it's going to be easier for me to sell at $300. So I get to make that choice. And none of it means anything about me. The amount of sales that I get have nothing to do with whether or not the value is $1,700 or the value is $300. The amount of sales that I get has to do with what I think the value is. It has to do with what I feel worthy of paying. It has to do with what I believe about other people's experiences in the world and their money that they have, right? I have a perception of my audience. I have a perception of how much money that my audience has. I have a perception of how much money that my audience can spend. Those are all beliefs that have to get worked on. No, it's not so easy to just say that, oh, you just need to work on your money mindset and you just need to say that money wants to come to you, because it's not true. I spent all of last year working on my money mindset, and yes, my money flow increased, and yes, I do have a better relationship with money, but I've been spending this year focusing on my human relationships, because my beliefs about humans, my beliefs about being betrayed, my beliefs about being neglected, my beliefs about being abandoned, surprise, in order to be a woman that receives consistent cash flow in her business, who receives consistently in her life, you have to believe that you're somebody who's living in a world that wants to give to her, who's living in a world that can give to her. So it's like, yes, if you have the steps for changing your mindset, it's a pretty cut and dry process. But it's challenging and it's difficult because the shit is layered. And that's why you need my courses. That's why you need one-on-one personal coaching with me, because I've decided that's also coming back. And technically it's been there, but there's been an application process, and it's just been something that I really have not wanted to look at or focus on at all. But maybe I kind of want to work with some people. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't say. But what I can say is that it's okay. Like, I was doing some reflecting around changing my prices, and I just was thinking to myself, like, do you know anyone in the world who trusts themselves and values themselves enough that they're able to put together the things that they've learned, turn it into a course, and sell it to people for $300? Not just people on the internet that you're comparing yourself to, but people in real life. Do you know anybody in real life that's having that experience? And the answer is no. I can't think of anybody that I have known that could do that. And it's not actually about what other people are doing. That just helps my brain to understand that in and of itself is an accomplishment. When I first started selling my courses, they were what, $7? Which was like crazy, undervalued, whatever. Going from 7 to 300 is pretty drastic. It's a pretty big increase. So I can acknowledge where I am, and I can accept where I am, and I can position myself in the best place for me to thrive. And it doesn't mean anything about me. There's a level of neutrality. So going back to bills. Bills get paid because bills get paid. My bills can be paid because my bills get to be paid. My savings goals can be reached because my savings goals get to be reached. I do not have to connect my savings goals to the amount of money that I am charging in my business. I don't have to sit and calculate, okay, if I'm going to charge $300 per course, this is the amount of courses that I have to sell in order to reach this goal. That doesn't work for me. That would never work for me. That makes me feel like I want to peel my own skin off and poke my eyeballs out. That makes me just a level of uncomfortable that I'm just not into. It's just not fucking helpful for me. So I don't have to equate the amount of money that I'm charging with my financial goals and what I'm manifesting, because money isn't limited in how it can come to me. So I can win the lottery, or I can get gifts from people, or what the fuck ever. But the point is that I can change how much I'm charging whenever I want, and it doesn't mean anything about me. I can change how I'm moving whenever I want, and it doesn't mean anything about me, because making $1,700 a course is just, it's inevitable. It's the direction that I'm heading. It's something that I put so much work towards. It's something that's already in motion. It's a transformation that is already underway. So nothing else means anything. And that's the message. Is that nothing about the physical results means anything. Nothing about the action that you're taking means anything. Nothing about the choices that you're making mean anything. If you're at a place where the easiest thing for you to do is to get a part-time job instead of working fully in your business because you're still building your confidence up, like, that doesn't mean anything. And for the longest time, I felt that it did. I felt that it did. And I was just creating more unnecessary struggle for myself because I felt like it meant something or it made me look some kind of way. But as I've been working on my identity a lot recently, I've been realizing that being at my next level, my desired level of self, it's an identity. It's a part of who I am. And there's nothing that can take that away from me. If I can hold the energy, hold the self-perception of my most successful self, regardless of how much my business is making, regardless of how much I'm charging, being that successful person is who I am. It's how I get to live. It's my destiny. It's what I was created for. It's everything that I was meant for. And there's nothing else in the physical reality that can do anything about it. There's nothing that can change it. And when it becomes who I am, when it becomes something that's inevitable, when it becomes something that's like permanent, that cannot be changed, when it becomes my destiny, there's a lot less pressure. There's no pressure. There's no pressure around bills for this month because it's not going to change. Who I am is not going to change. My worthiness of success is not going to change. My inherent successfulness is not going to change. The success that I was born to create and experience is not going to change. The women who were made to work with me and connect with me is not going to change. The fact that there are women who were born to pay me $1,700 per course, like, that's not going to change. These are things that I tell myself again and again. These are things that become facts in my life. And so if it has become a fact in my life, then it can't be changed. So if that's just a fact, if my success is just a fact, then nothing else means anything. And this is so important. This neutrality to the negative is so important because oh my God. Okay, I thought I muted my mic. This neutrality to the negative is so important because I spent so much time pushing away from where I was, not wanting to be where I was, not wanting to charge less than what I wanted and all of that stuff. I spent so much time pushing away from that it created this resistance to where I am. And it's like, what you resist persists. You're not going to get to your next level pushing away from where you are. You're not going to get to your next level being ashamed of where you are. You're not going to get to your next level having more success in your business by focusing on how much you hate your part-time job or hate the current job that you're at. Like, it's not fair for me to say that you're not going to get there, but what I will say is that you're making it more difficult. You're making it more of a struggle. So for me, thinking differently, thinking like the CEO of my life, thinking like the CEO of my business, the way that I make decisions is now more expanded than ever before. It's not rooted in me just being focused on one outcome. It's rooted in my emotional, mental, physical health. It's rooted on my financial goals. It's rooted in my financial needs. If I charge less money, I can focus more on my messaging. I can focus more on my marketing. I can focus more on being super connected with my customer. If I lower my pricing, then I don't have that feeling of stress and worry around, can I make this much? I have to hurry up and build out this belief because I need to meet these financial goals and handle this and take care of this for bills, right? There's an unnecessary pressure that I've been putting on myself to get to my next level. I don't need that. So as the person who's this boss and who's this leader in my own life, I need to make choices and decisions based on my mental health, based on my emotional health. If I'm charging less, then I can focus more on building community and connecting with my ideal client, which is something that's really important for me to focus on. I can focus on working on my relationships. I can work with some more clients. I can perfect the kind of clients that I'm calling in. I can increase my testimonials. There's so many pros to this emotionally. So it's not just about the amount of money that I'm making, it's about how I'm feeling. And that's how you create an emotionally fulfilled life for yourself. You take more than one thing into account when you're making choices and decisions. Um, for me, it's like the same thing in romance. I was someone who created goals for myself where it was like, I felt like if I didn't have this, then I shouldn't, like, ugh, how can I fucking explain it? Like, I felt like if I didn't meet a certain criteria, then I couldn't have the things that I wanted in my life. And not like I couldn't have it because I knew that I could have it, but I felt like I shouldn't have it. You know, like I shouldn't have a relationship until I'm more successful. I shouldn't have a relationship until I've reached my next level of success. And I've just been realizing over this past like month that there's just some shit that just doesn't matter. And while I'm telling myself that I can't have what I want now because I don't have XYZ requirement, I'm just telling myself that I'm not good enough. I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough. And that's not going to help me get to what I want ever. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to know that what I want and what I desire is mine. And I'm going to know that no matter how long it takes me, it's still mine. No matter how long it takes me, I'm still worthy. I'm going to understand that there's greater, bigger beliefs. It takes more than what they're telling you. Or maybe they just haven't been fucking traumatized in their lives. And like, you know, a majority of human beings have experienced some sort of trauma in their lives. But there's one woman who mentored me, and she's super great. But she's like, oh, I love my mom. My mom is the most supportive person on planet Earth. Okay, for some of us, our mom was our first bully. If you're like me, when you get in social situations with your mother, she does things and says things to make fun of you, to make you the odd one out, to pick on you, to belittle you, to put you down. And she's been doing it since you were a child. You grew up in a hostile fucking environment. You're telling yourself the story that people are untrustworthy, that it's not safe for you to receive. You have so much guilt, you have so much shame, you have all of this stuff that's going on that manifests in your work, that manifests in your work environment, the people you attract, the bosses you attract in your business. It manifests the amount of people you're able to receive and maintain across social media, your levels of popularity. The shit is complex. Somebody who has a supportive mother who's always been there for them and is really the greatest thing since sliced bread. They don't understand that. They're not going to have that experience. So manifesting might be easier for them in that particular way. Maybe it only took her a year to have $100,000 saved in the bank because she didn't have to spend that year telling herself the story that it was safe to be in the world, that it was safe to be a part of humanity. Maybe she didn't have to spend that year telling herself that she was wanted, or maybe she did. We don't know. But the point is that this shit is more complicated, it's more complex, it's more difficult than people make it out to be. And I'm tired of them acting like it's the easiest thing in the world when it's not if you've been traumatized. It's not the easiest thing in the world. If you feel unsafe in the world, if you feel guilty getting your needs met, if you grew up with not enough love, not enough money, not enough attention, not enough care. It's not easy. And it's okay that it's not easy. It's still worth it. It is still so worth it. I have observed myself over the past month, like my subconscious taking over, me automatically taking care of myself. A while ago, I had taken an edible, not today, a while ago, but in the past. I took an edible and it was one of those experiences where 30 minutes into it, you're like, I don't know, should I take another one? This is not getting. And then 5 minutes after that, it's like the edible took you. You didn't take the edible. The edible took you, So it kind of was like one of those moments where the weed is telling me to be paranoid, And I just observed myself. It's like I observed myself calm myself down. Where I'm paranoid and I'm freaking out and I'm talking to myself. And I'm like, hey, you're okay, you're fine. You're okay, you're safe. Even though you're freaking out, you're still safe. You're still alright, you're still okay. I'm doing fucking EFT tapping and shit. Who the fuck are you? But that loving myself, taking care of myself, parenting myself, that's who I am and that's how I live. That's just who I am and how I live. And it's so powerful that I have reprogrammed my subconscious so that my subconscious is my friend. My brain automatically thinks for me in supportive ways. And that's because I kept going. So is it challenging and complex and layered? Absolutely. And is it worth it? Fucking obviously. And once you get the hang of it, and once you sift through that shit from your past, and once you've cleared so much stuff out, does it get significantly easier? Yes, absolutely. But there are parts of the journey that might be difficult, and that's okay. And as you're moving through those difficult parts of the journey, do not ever put yourself in a position like I did, where you're creating suffering for yourself because you think it means something about who you are and where you're going, because you're not there yet. It's just not true. It's okay to be where you are. If where you are is charging $25 for a session, then that's where you are. And it's not bad. I think I see now that there are so many more advantages to being open and to thriving where I've been versus trying to push myself and force myself to be somewhere that I'm already on the way to. I'm already there. It's like a level of pressure has been released for me. I don't have to fight against where I am because I know that I'm already going to be where I'm going. It's already mine. I'm already headed there. No matter what happens, me being successful, me having a thriving business where women are ready, willing, and eager to pay me $1,700 per course and more, like that is inevitable. That is destiny. That is where we're already headed. And so if I am already headed there, if I am already going to go there, why do I need to spend the entire journey freaking out? Why do I need to spend the entire journey uncomfortable? Why do I need to spend the entire journey feeling lack or feeling like I don't have enough or feeling scared and stressed and like I have to reach this next level by XYZ amount of time, otherwise this bill's not going to get paid and da 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 da. No, I don't need to do that. I don't have to do that. None of that is required. That is creating unnecessary struggle for me. When I'm going there and there's nothing that can change any of that. There's no amount of me lowering my prices that is going to change the success that I am creating for myself, the success that I'm destined for. There is no amount of getting a part-time job that is going to change what I'm destined for. There is no amount of charging $100 an hour, $150 an hour that's going to change where I'm going. It's not possible. It's not possible. So working on that identity is so important. Make your next level a part of your identity. Make your next level a part of who you are. That's something that you innately are. It's something that you inherently get to be and get to experience. There's no if and or buts about it. And if that's the truth, then being where you are is okay. And you want to start asking yourself the question, how can I enjoy where I'm at right now? I don't have to be preoccupied with where I'm going. I already put it in the GPS. The plane has already taken off. We're headed to the destination. I got 6 hours before we touch down. How do I want to spend the next 6 hours? Am I going to spend the next 6 hours going, is the plane going to make it? Is the plane going to make it? God, I wish that I had a blanket, but I don't want to get my blanket from the overhead bin. I'm going to wait until we land and I'm going to be cold. No, it doesn't make sense. All right, I've got 6 hours until we land. I know that I'm going to get there. I know I'm going to have a great time when I get there. While I'm on the way there, I want to enjoy my flight. I'm going to get my blanket. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to have some side quests. This month of July has been a month of side quests for me. I'm a changed woman. I'm going to go on some side quests. I know that I am headed there. I know that God is on my side. I know the world is on my side. I know that it's my destiny. I know that it's already underway. I know that it's already on its way to me. I know that it's coming. I know that it's manifesting. I know that it is coming into fruition. Like, these are things that I know for sure. And in the meantime, what is it that I want to do to enjoy myself today? What is it that I want to do to have a good time today? Tomorrow is already guaranteed. I don't have to worry about it. That's who I am. What do I want to do today? All right. And what I will say is that I have a new bonus coming to the I Can and I Should course. That is the course that we're going to focus on. I was really indecisive about what I wanted to focus on next. But I do have an identity swapping bonus that is coming to you inside of the I Can and I Should course. Of course, I suggest that you check that out and all of my other courses because they are now $300. I am now, for my personal coaching, offering one-off sessions that you can book using the link in the description box or show notes. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to email me, comment on YouTube, give me your feedback. Let me know that this helped you. Let me know that this freed you. Are you somebody like me who has had difficulty not just focusing on the end? Are you somebody like me who has stressed about whether or not they will get there, so much so that they have made themselves suffer in the present moment? Like, tell me. I want to know your story. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next one.